integrity, integrity, integrity. So, let's talk about the word integrity. The part of speech is noun, which means it refers to a quality or characteristic. In common usage, integrity generally means being honest and truthful in all your actions, decisions, and words. It's about having strong moral principles and sticking to them, even when it's difficult or unpopular. You can use this word to describe someone who always tells the truth, no matter how painful it may be, or someone who refuses to compromise their values for personal gain. For example, you might say, she has great integrity if she never cheats on a test. Or, he's lost his integrity if he starts to make excuses or blame others when things go wrong. One special note about using this word is that it can be quite formal. So it's often used in more serious conversations, like business meetings or debates, rather than casual chats with friends. Here are 3 example sentences using the word integrity with varying levels of formality. In formal settings, such as in official speeches or academic papers, the word integrity is used to convey a sense of high moral standards and ethics. For instance, as a renowned lawyer, she built her reputation on unwavering integrity, always putting the interests of her clients above her own. This usage highlights the importance of integrity in maintaining trust and respect. In casual conversations with friends or colleagues, the word integrity is often used to discuss someone's character or behavior. For example, I'm not sure if I can work with him on this project. He seems really shady and lacks integrity. This usage is more relaxed and may be used to express skepticism or distrust towards someone. In business or academic contexts, the word integrity is often used in relation to data accuracy, research methods, or system security. For instance, the new software update ensured the integrity of all user data, preventing any unauthorized access. This usage emphasizes the importance of maintaining the accuracy and authenticity of information. These examples illustrate how the word integrity can be used in different contexts to convey varying shades of meaning, from high moral standards to technical accuracy. So you want to know what integrity is? Well, let me tell you, it's about being honest and true to yourself and others. All the time. When someone has integrity, they stick to their values and principles. Even when it gets tough, they're not influenced by things that might make them do something wrong or dishonest. It's like having a strong moral compass that guides their actions and decisions. Having integrity also means being transparent and accountable for your words and actions. You take responsibility for what you say and do, and you don't try to hide or cheat. Some people think of it as being authentic or genuine, which means you're true to yourself and others in a way that's sincere and respectful. In many cases, having integrity is about doing the right thing, even when it's hard, like keeping promises, telling the truth, and treating others with kindness and respect. Intrinsic, intrinsic, intrinsic. I'd be happy to help you understand the word intrinsic. So, did you know that intrinsic is an adjective? It means belonging naturally to something, or being essential to its nature. For example, if someone says that a beautiful sunset has intrinsic value, they mean that it's valuable just because of what it is, not because of any external factors like monetary worth. In common usage, you might hear people talk about the intrinsic qualities of a person, like their kindness or honesty, which make them who they are. A special note to keep in mind is that intrinsic often implies something that's inherent and can't be changed by external circumstances. Unlike extrinsic, which refers to something added from outside. For instance, someone might say that a person's intelligence is intrinsic, but their knowledge of a particular subject is extrinsic. I'd be happy to help you with some practical examples of using the word intrinsic. So, in formal language, an intrinsic value is something that has worth or importance due to its nature or characteristics, rather than because it's useful or practical. For instance, a philosopher might say, the intrinsic value of human life is what motivates us to prioritize dignity and respect above all else. This sentence assumes a context where the discussion is centered on philosophical principles, and the speaker is using intrinsic to emphasize the inherent worth of human existence. In casual conversation, you might use intrinsic to describe something that's essential or characteristic of someone or something. So, if your friend asks why they love hiking in the mountains, you could reply, I think it's because there's just something intrinsic about being surrounded by nature. It feels like a part of who I am. Here, the context is a social gathering, and the conversation has turned to personal preferences or interests. In business or academic settings, intrinsic might be used in discussions related to motivation, engagement, or performance. For example, if you're analyzing the factors that drive employee productivity, you could say, research suggests that intrinsic motivations, such as a sense of purpose or autonomy, are more effective at boosting job satisfaction than external rewards. In this context, intrinsic is used in a technical or analytical discussion to highlight the connection between internal drivers and workplace outcomes. So, you're wondering about this concept that refers to something that is naturally part of who or what we are? Well, imagine having a quality or ability that just comes with being yourself. It's not something you learned or acquired later in life. That's kind of like what I'm trying to describe here. The main characteristics of this idea are that they're fundamental and essential to your identity, personality, or nature. Think of them as the foundation upon which everything else is built. Now, similar concepts or synonyms for this might include things like natural ability, native talent, or even just plain old, who you are. As for what it does or how it's used, well, these qualities help shape your thoughts, feelings, and actions in ways that are unique to you. They're a big part of what makes you, you. Invoke. 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 So, let's talk about the word invoke. As a verb, it means to call on someone or something, especially in order to get help, support, or authority. In common usage, people often invoke rules, laws, or principles to guide their actions or decisions. For example, she invoked her right to remain silent during the interrogation, or he invoked the principle of fairness to argue his point. What's important to note is that when you use this word, it implies a sense of authority, legality, or moral justification. So be careful not to misuse it, like saying, I'm going to invoke my laziness to avoid studying for this exam. That won't fly. In a formal setting, such as a university commencement ceremony, you might say, the president will invoke the names of all esteemed alumni who have made significant contributions to society. Here, invoking refers to calling upon or referencing. In casual conversation with friends over coffee, someone might joke, I'm going to invoke my right to extra dessert because I just had a terrible day. In this context, invoking means using an excuse or justification. In a business meeting discussing project timelines, You could say, we need to invoke the original deadline and work through the night to meet it. Here, invoking refers to bringing into effect or putting into action a previously agreed upon schedule or plan. So, when we talk about invoking something, what we mean is that you're bringing it up or calling upon it in some way. The main characteristic of this concept is that it's an action that makes something happen or comes into effect. It's like a signal to someone or something that says, "Hey, I want you to do your thing." This can be used in many different contexts, such as invoking a law or rule to take control of a situation, or even just mentally calling upon a memory or feeling to help guide you through a tough time. In terms of similar concepts or synonyms, some other words that might come to mind are activating, triggering, or even summoning, although the last one is often used in more formal or magical contexts. The idea behind it all is that you're using this concept to get something done or happening, and it's a really useful tool to have in your language toolkit.